God has given us these hands to do so many things. But among the many things that these hands are able to do are two things that I would like to point out today. One, redeeming. Two, accusing. These hands can be redeeming, but they can also be accusing. They can be redeeming when we use them to attend to those that have been defeated by sin, to pull them out of their reality of sin in order that they don't feel condemned or judged, and that they feel stronger, that they don't feel crushed under the yoke of the sin that has defeated them, whether in public or in private, those that feel are living in the life of sin. These same hands can also be accusing when we use them to pick up stones and throw at those that have been defeated by sin. When we use them to point out the dark spots that we see in other people's lives. When we use them to judge other people, to condemn other people, to accuse them of whatever we want to accuse them, so that they feel accused, they feel sinful, that they feel judged and condemned. What do your hands do? What do you use your hands for? Is it to redeem or to accuse? Is it to pull those that are defeated by sin, or to pick up the stones and throw at those same ones? When we read today's gospel, the people bring before Jesus a woman that has been caught in adultery. And according to the Jewish law, when somebody is caught in adultery, the punishment that is inflicted on them is actually death, by stoning. You're supposed to be stoned. That's unheard of. It's not supposed to be happening. So, to prevent you from contaminating the community with an adulterous behavior, it's better you are eliminated. That was the law. So these people, is it the Pharisees or the scribes, the chief priests, that bring this woman to Jesus, in fact, know that they didn't even have to bring her to Jesus for a sentence to be passed on her. They knew that immediately after catching her red-handed, they were supposed to kill her. But there's a reason why they bring her to Jesus, because they are also trying to pursue Jesus. So that when he says something that is contrary to the law, then they can have something concrete to raise against Jesus. And Jesus is able to read all their minds. Immediately he stoops down and begins to write something. And there's something that he says to them, which I think can also be striking to us. Let that person that has never sinned be the first to cast that stone. Immediately Jesus raises his head. He sees that there's nobody around anymore. And he's asking the woman, but where are those that brought you here? Those that were almost killing you, where are they? They have all vanished. Because that statement made them realize that they are just as bad as this woman that they are trying to kill. Maybe even worse than her. It had to take Jesus for them to realize that they are just also as bad, that they are also living a life of sin. Because when they brought this woman to him, in a way, the language that they are speaking, or they were speaking, was that we are better than her. Yes, we could have done something wrong, but whatever we have done does not deserve death. We don't deserve to die. But she deserves to die because she has done the worst thing. That is the language that they speak as they bring this woman to Jesus. So they are using their hands to judge, to condemn, to point out the wrong in that person's life. They are using their hands to make that person feel she is indeed a sinner. Jesus is trying to help them understand that, in fact, instead of using their hands for that purpose, they could use those same hands to help that lady come out of the life of sin. And Jesus uses his hands exactly for that purpose. He helps her to come out of the life of sin, and he tells her, go and sin no more. He does not condemn her. He does not read the sins that she has committed or the sin that she has committed. He doesn't do any of that, but uses his hands to redeem her from that reality of sin. Something that the Pharisees themselves and the chief priests should have done even before they brought her to him. I think there's something that we can pick from there for our own reflection. We do know that many of us are defeated by sin in many ways. Some publicly, others privately. We also know that many of us have become accusers and judges, condemners of other people, in a way to say, at least we are better off, not like those. At least we are trying. Those are worse off. Some of us have had that kind of attitude. And as we reflect on this gospel of a woman that is brought to Jesus caught in adultery, I think we're also being reminded that we are just as bad as that woman. If she deserves to die for what she has done, then we deserve to die too. Because we have equally sinned. But we are afraid of facing our own sin. So it is easier for us to face the sin of another person. We are afraid of addressing our own cracks in our lives. And it is easier for us to address the cracks that we see in another person. We are afraid of pointing those accusing fingers at ourselves, because it is not a very nice thing to do, to talk about your own sinfulness. It is a shameful thing to do, to talk about your own sinfulness. Maybe we are even too ashamed to face our own filth. And so the easiest thing that we can do is to look at the bad thing in another person's life. It is to look at the adultery of that woman. That is the easiest thing that we can do. And to begin to pick up stones and throw at them. So that we cover up our own sin, we cover up our own cracks, our own dark spots. But does that make us better? Certainly not. You can cover up your dark spots as much as you want, but that does not make you better in any way. It's like a leopard. Kanyama kaja ka leopard. It has those spots. You can even talk about a zebra, which has those zebra crossings all over his body. That leopard with all its spots, if it wants, it can go and paint itself some other color. Okay? Let's say it goes and jumps into a drum of red paint or blue paint. It comes out painted blue. It comes out painted red. Or it goes to play in the mud and all its body is covered in mud, such that no one can see the spots anymore. Has that leopard lost its spots? It hasn't lost its spots. They are still there. They are still there. They are only covered. They are only shrouded in something. But the spots are still there. And I think that is what we do, some of us. We go to jump into blue paint, yellow paint, white paint, so that we give an impression of a good person. We give an impression of a blue person, or of a red person, or of a green person, when we are actually a black person, or an orange person. The real color still remains. So until you address that color which is underneath, whatever you do is not going to make that color disappear. Until you address it, you face it. You can sugarcoat it, but as long as it is still there, it will always be there. Just like the spots of a leopard, they will still be there. And should we use some kind of material that washes away the top paint, or is it the mud? Then we are going to see the real spots. Then people will be like, oh, so this is who you are. This is how you are. So this is what you do. This is what you do. This is what we've been doing. Because the spots are still there. We are afraid of facing those spots because it is not a very nice thing to do. So what do? We begin to look at the spots of another person. And we begin to say, hey, your spots are too dark. Hey, this is what you have done. Hey, you are a sinner. Hey, don't stop coming to church. Hey, stop receiving the Eucharist. Hey, stop doing this. You are a bad person. ukamwalira sitikubweresa na ku church, tikupeleka straight kumanda. This is the language that the Pharisees and the chief priests are using as they bring that woman to Jesus. What about ourselves? Are we better than that person whose sin has become public? Just look at how social media sometimes treats people that are defeated by sin, or that are caught red-handed, stealing, whatever they are doing, and someone captures and he throws it out there for everyone to see. Just look at how social media treats people like that. And are we any different from these Pharisees picking up stones to kill that person who is already under the weight of sin, who is already defeated by sin? I think today's readings, especially the gospel, should help us to begin to change our attitude, especially towards those that we think are more of a sinner than ourselves. Because the truth of the matter is that we are all just the same thing. We are caught in adultery or not caught in adultery, whether caught stealing or not caught stealing, whether captured on camera or not captured on camera. The fact is that the spots are still there. Whether we want to appear good to others when actually that is not what we really are or not. The dark spots are still there. The leopard spots are still there. And when Jesus says, let that person that has never sinned be the first to cast the stone, he's also speaking to us to say, if you have never sinned, if you have never done anything wrong, be the first person to post that bad comment about that person who has been defeated by sin. Be the first person to pick up that stone and throw at that person whose sin has become public knowledge. Be the first person to do that. Be the first person to say that bad thing about them if you have never done anything wrong yourself. This is the message Christ is also delivering to us today. Let us pray for ourselves, that just as St. Paul in today's second reading, who acknowledges his own sinfulness, his own weakness, that we too may have the courage to face ourselves and say, well, others have sinned, yes, but I think I am a worst sinner. It should be better to consider ourselves as worst sinners rather than considering others as worst sinners. And this is what St. Paul is trying to say, that I have sinned, I've done something wrong, and I want to change, I want to convert, I want to become a better person. It is only after I have converted, I've become a better person, I've stopped sinning, that I can also help other people to see their own spots in their lives. If you have never sinned, be the first to cast that stone. Amen.